Hi, we decided to go with the organization called Alliance for Children, and this is Group 5.
Hello. In this presentation, we will be going over organization overview, social work in the organization, skills for success in the organization, professionalism in the organization, and preparatory experiences. And this is all in regard to Alliances for Children. Thank you. Number 1, organizational overview. What organization was selected and why? Our group chose Alliance for Children. The mission for Alliance for Children is to protect Tarrant County children from abuse through teamed investigations, healing services, and community education. Information about Alliance for Children. It was founded in 1991. It is a nonprofit organization which has centers in Arlington, Fort Worth, and Hearst. Over 74,000 children have benefited from this program. Why we selected this organization. My group chose Alliance for Children because it is an organization that directly helps children and families who have experienced abuse. We wanted to focus on a place that has a real impact and supports people during some of the hardest times of their lives. Alliance for Children provides safety, resources, and healing, which are important things we've learned in this class. As a group, we thought this organization matched what we care about and gave us a way to represent what we learned in this class to real world work. Social work in the organization. What do social workers do there and how do they practice? Social workers at Alliance for Children help support children's and families' needs with abuse and connect them with the resources and professionals. A social worker may help or complete case management, resource referrals, family court preparation, and emergency needs, as well as doing interviews on children or counseling services. They practice by using empathy, active listening, and trauma care to make sure children and their families feel protected, heard, and supported, which are all skills we have learned in this class.
Number 3, skills for success in the organization. The question is, what skills are needed to succeed in this organization and why? The most important skill to have is to have an understanding of trauma-informed communication. Communicate with sensitivity, maintain emotional regulation, and demonstrate active listening. These skills ensure that interventions promote safety, support healing, and uphold the dignity of children and families who have experienced abuse. The second most important skill to have is to be able to collaborate well with other professionals in the field. Working effectively with law enforcement, legal advocates, medical professionals, and child protective services will all be needed in this organization. Collaboration ensures accurate information sharing, coordinated care, and consistent support for clients. Documentation and being well organized is also a very important skill to have in this organization. Maintain thorough and accurate documentation, clear communication, and professional organization are all important skills to have. These practices are essential for tracking client progress, sharing critical information with partners, and ensuring that care is continued. And lastly, the last skill to have is to be able to uphold values such as teamwork, service, and a commitment to protecting vulnerable populations. These are all fundamental core social work values. These principles guide ethical decision making and help maintain professionalism in challenging situations.
Hi everyone. Today I will be going over professionalism in the field and in this organization. So, what would professionalism look like as a practicing social worker? Professionalism within this organization can revolve around being able to maintain and uphold ethical standards, also being able to uphold those core values that as a social worker we are expected to obtain and uphold. Also being able to work with children, just having that HIPAA standard knowledge already is going to be very important just because we are focusing more on the child's information and their privacy. So it's going to be very important to be able to maintain those HIPAA guidelines. Also maintaining boundaries between social worker and client, showing empathy, and practicing self-care to prevent any burned out. I know that professionalism in the social work world can look very different, especially in the organizations that we all might work at, but those are going to be the 4 main ones that I can see being very useful in the workplace. So, what will professionalism look like in this organization? Alliance for Children is very focused on helping children that were physically or sexually abused. So, whenever we talk about professionalism, it might look more like being able to maintain and have a calm composure. This is going to be very important, especially whenever we meet with the victim for the first time and we hear their story. Just being able to maintain that composure. I also talked about being able to separate those personal feelings and replacing them with advocacy and action. This can not this can help with creating hope for change. Um, and again, upholding any HIPAA standards, just to make sure that we're protecting their privacy and their safety. This is very important, especially working with children. Also, attending any trainings, this can expand our knowledge and can help our understandings, especially more with whenever we talk about crimes against children. Um, I feel like whenever we talk about professionalism as a social worker working with children, um, being able to be very knowledgeable about what we're talking about, especially when we speak with families that are kind of lost in this um, state of mind. They're not too sure what's going on, so being able to educate them about the process is going to be very important. Um, but yes, this is pretty much the main idea of what professionalism can look like at Alliance for Children. I think it's also very important to understand that working with children might be a little different than working with adults, just because we're having to connect with their caregivers and being almost also their social worker, but also understanding the boundaries between the child is my client, and while I do have to report to caregiver, being able to voice that boundary between them is going to be very important as well.
The last section we will be going over is preparatory experiences. So the question is, how has your previous experience prepared you if you were to assume a social work role in this institution? I personally volunteered at a children's daycare my first year for my introduction to social work class, and volunteering at this daycare with children's aged 3 to 5 helped me develop key skills for working with young clients. I also learned to observe behaviors, provide support, and create a nurturing environment. It also gave me a better understanding of children's emotional and developmental needs and showed me how important it is to listen actively and pay close attention to their behavioral cues. In addition to this, completing this course on professionalism helped me gain a better understanding of ethical practice in social work, including how to maintain professional boundaries and uphold client confidentiality. Combined with my empathetic nature, especially toward children who have faced challenges like abuse, these experiences have prepared me to engage effectively, communicate clearly, and work ethically in a social work setting.
Alliance for Children offers various programs at no cost to help families elevate stress and during their time of healing. Team response proven best for child abuse cases. Over 12,000 sessions of trauma-focused clinical services provided to victims. Holiday programs lift spirits for 230 families, 631 children this year. 50,000 educated in sexual abuse prevention. Makeover Project transforms crime scenes to places of respite, and 2,182 first-time clients served in the year 2023-2024.
Thank you for taking the time to look over our presentation. This is the Alliance for Children contact. The phone number is 817-795-9992. If you know anyone who has been dealing with child abuse, please report it. There is many resources available to them through this website, which is allianceforchildren.org, and the address is 1312 W. Abrams Street, located in Arlington, Texas.